welcome to our presentation on English Language School Management. This presentation is brought to you by
I'm Hariska Putri Wijaya
and I'm Novita Indrani.
In this session, I, Hariska, will present Chapter 1 focusing on English language education in Indonesia, discussing its formal, non-formal, and informal dimensions.
After that, I'm Novita, will continue with Chapter 2, exploring the development and roles of English language schools in Indonesia.
Now, let's begin with Chapter 1. Hello everyone, today we'll explore Chapter 1 from English Language School Management by Korompot and Malolo. This chapter focuses on the current landscape of English language education or ELE in Indonesia, covering formal, non-formal, and informal sectors. Before we dive in, let's reflect. Why do you think English is so important in Indonesia today? Or is classroom learning enough, or do we need something more? Let's start with a bit of history. So, English was introduced to Indonesians during the colonial era and became a compulsory school subject in the 1950s. In today's global world, English is essential for careers, higher education, and international communication. But we still face big challenges: not enough qualified teachers, unique curriculum delivery, and limited access to learning materials, especially in rural areas. Thankfully, more and more students are finding learning opportunities through private courses and digital platforms. In Indonesia, formal English education starts in junior high and continues through senior high school. It focuses on grammar, reading, writing, and speaking, and follows a genre-based approach or GBA. At the university level, English is not always required, but is often offered as a general course or as English specific purpose or ESP. So assessment and methods include exams, presentation, and papers, but to be effective, the system needs strong teacher training and continuous development. So, non-formal education takes place outside the school system, mainly through private English language schools. These programs are flexible, student-centered, and often designed for real-world needs like business or tourism. A great example is Kampung Inggris in Pare, East Java, where learners live and practice English daily. Global organizations like British Council and EF also support this type of learning in Indonesia. Now, informal learning happens everywhere outside school or course settings. It includes self-study through books or apps, using English with family or friends, joining clubs, watching videos, or participating in online communities. But remember, not everyone has equal access. These opportunities often depend on someone's financial situations, internet access, or where they live. So, let's briefly look at insights from other research. A thesis by Diva Nurfat 2019 found that while formal, non-formal, and informal environments all support English development, non-formal learning, especially in Kampung Inggris Pare, had the most significant impact on test scores like TOEFL and IELTS. The immersive, flexible setting helps students gain confidence, manage their time, and actively use English. Meanwhile, a study by Hossein et al. 2020 shows how Indonesian students use smartphones for informal English learning, mostly for receptive activities like reading or listening. Interestingly, students who use English more often than Bahasa Indonesia in this online text rated their proficiency significantly higher. This proves that informal digital habits can enhance language skills when English is actively used.
Okay, we move to the next chapter, that is English language schools in Indonesia. English language schools in Indonesia. So from Korompot and Malolo 2024, English language or EL schools have become essential institution in Indonesia educational framework, offering students and professional alternative and flexible pathways to enhance their language skills. So, what is the roles of EL school in Indonesia? The first one is complementing formal education. EL schools support and supplement the national education system by filling the gaps that formal institutions may leave behind. They offer personalized instruction tailored to the learner's specific goals, helping them strengthen language skills that may not be fully addressed in school or university. And the second one is improving English proficiency across all age. These schools serve a wide demographic, including children, teenagers, university students, and professionals. They provide programs targeted to various fields such as business, tourism, and academia, helping learners gain English proficiency suited to their context. And the third one is adaptability and market responsiveness. English language schools are dynamic in nature. They continuously revise their curricula to reflect changing learner needs and industry trends. They integrate real-life scenario and authentic material to ensure that the content remains practical and engaging. And the fourth is leveraging technology. Many EL schools use technology to enhance instruction. Digital platforms, multimedia tools, and online resources enable flexible and self-paced learning while allowing students to track their own progress with support from teachers. And we move to the next slide. That is services of EL school. The first one, General English Language Course or GEL. These foundational courses focus on the four core language skills, that is reading, writing, listening, and also speaking. Courses are structured according to proficiency levels from beginner to advanced and aim to build everyday communication ability. And the second one is Special English Language Course. For students, EL schools provide focused programs for academic and professional purposes. These include EAP, English for academic purposes, for students preparing for academic studies and English speaking context. The second one is ESP, English for specific purposes, tailored for fields like business, medical, legal, and technical profession. The third one is exam preparation, intensive training for IELTS, TOEFL, and Cambridge exams. The next one is fluency and conversation course to boost confidence and communication skill. The next one is English for young learners, designed to introduce English to children in an age-appropriate way. And also English Plus program, combining language study with other skill or activity. And the last one is teacher training, TFL and CLTE, for future English instructor seeking professional certification. Okay, the third one is additional English language course. This includes creative and professional development options such as the first one, digital communication, creative writing, public speaking and presentation, English for hospitality and customer service, and also English for media and journalism. And the other service is like to ensure the learning experience. EL schools also offer like translation and interpreting service, cultural orientation for students preparing to study or work abroad, academic support like tutoring and writing help, accommodation assistance for out-of-town students, extracurricular activities, and field trips to reinforce language use in real setting, career and education counseling, and also community outreach program to promote social involvement. The next one is regulation and quality assurance. The first one, legal requirements. EL school must operate legally under the supervision of the Ministry of Education and Cultures. This includes obtaining operational permits and relevant business licenses. And the second one is accreditation. Quality assurance is provided through official accreditation from national bodies like BANVT for higher education, BANVNF for non-formal education institution. And the third one is teacher certification. Teachers are expected to have completed Pendidikan Profesi Guru and or PPG and passed the teacher competency test UKG to ensure teaching standards are met. And the fourth one is curriculum standards. Most EL schools follow international frameworks such as the Common European Framework of Reference (CEFR) to ensure consistency and quality in language instruction. And also the last one is continuous improvement. EL school priorities grow by regularly updating curricula and providing professional development opportunity for teachers through workshop, conferences, and online training. Okay, the next one is technology integration in EL school. The first one is digital platform. EL school use online tools to deliver lessons and resources, making it easier for students to access material anytime and anywhere. And the second one is personalized learning. With self-paced modules and flexible pathways, learners can study at their own speed using authentic content that reflects real-world communication. And the last one, teacher-students communication. Online system allow for instant feedback, digital assessment, and ongoing monitoring of student progress, creating a more responsive learning environment. And the research insight from Zane and Friends 2022 say that Indonesia, being a populous country in the non-English speaking world, continues to become an important market for English language education. It also holds a prominent position within the Association of Southeast Asian Nations or ASEAN community, where English has become the driving force for globalization, with influences extending beyond the linguistic sphere to also reach the economic, political, cultural, and ideological ones. And the second one is from Alton and Forsyth, Ahmad 2021, conclude that using technology in learning English language is very essential. Having such technological tools in the classroom allows the teacher to use different methods and approach in teaching his or her student. Hello guys, so we move to the next session, that is reflective video. So I will give some question for Hariska. It's about chapter 1. So the question is from chat box. How have you used English informally? Example, through social media, movies, music, or chatting with foreign friends. Give an example of how this helped improve your skill compared to classroom learning.
Okay, thank you for question. So I think I've learned English informally mostly through songs and short videos. I listen a lot of English songs like from My Chemical Romance, Bring Me the Horizon, Taylor Swift, and so on.
Wow.
So at first, I enjoy the music, but then I start paying attention to the lyrics and trying to understand them. And sometimes I even look up the meaning of certain phrase or expressions. Besides that, I often learn from short videos that pop up on my FYP TikTok and Instagram. Some of them are skits, interviews, or just daily conversations in English. So it really helps me get used to the way English is actually spoken compared to classroom learning. So I think this kind of exposure feels more natural and easier to remember because it's fun and part of my daily routine.
Okay.
Okay, so I think I see the some question for you in the chat box. So the question is, many schools use apps like Quizlet, Zoom, or online platforms. So recall a time technology helped or failed your English learning. For example, did you joining a WhatsApp discussion or group boost your confidence, or did poor internet access disrupt your progress?
I remember when in the first semester, we had online class, right? And at the time, I was still adjusting to university life and learning English through screen felt quite challenging. But over time, I became more confident, and especially when we had a group discussion or speaking task using WhatsApp, Google Meet, or Zoom. It's really helped me to improve my vocabulary and fluency. However, there were also moments when technology didn't support the learning process. Since I live in a village, especially in my hometown, the internet signal was often unstable or the internet is not available. Sometimes the connection would suddenly disappear or disconnect, and it made it hard to follow the class or submit tasks on time.
Yeah.
So despite these challenges, I still believe that online learning supported by technology was helpful as long as we stay committed and adaptive to the situation. I think like that.
Okay. So the last question for me and you is, compare your English skills to friends who attended language course. Do you notice gaps like fluency or vocabulary? How do you explain these differences? So I'll go first. To be honest, I do notice a gap between me and some of my friends who attended English course. I feel like they are more fluent and confident in speaking, and they use richer vocabulary. And I think one reason is because I did not really practice speaking regularly, especially outside class. So like in this session too, I sometimes struggle to find the right words or feel stuck mid-sentence. So maybe I need more exposure to real conversation and more active vocab use, not just passive understanding. How about you?
And we have the same opinions.
Yeah.
And also, I have noticed that some of my friends who attended language course outside of campus tend to be more fluent, especially in speaking. They seem more confident when expressing ideas in English, and their vocabulary, especially, is often more advanced or specific, especially when discussing certain topics. And in contrast, I also struggle to find the right words or speak smoothly, even though I understand what's being said.
Yes.
But I think one reason for this difference is the learning environment. In language course, they get more opportunity to practice speaking directly, often with smaller class size and more interaction. Meanwhile, in regular class, the focus is more on academic English and grammar, with less time to speaking practice.
Yes.
Also, motivation plays a role. Those who take extra course are usually more driven to improve quickly. I
Okay.
think like that.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all.
Okay, the conclusion of this chapter is English language education in Indonesia has become a vital part of preparing learners for global challenges, with both formal and non-formal institutions playing important roles. English language schools complement formal education by offering flexible, specialized, and practical programs tailored to diverse needs. Supported by regulation, accreditation, and technology integration, these schools help equip Indonesians with essential language skills for academic and professional success.